People often ask me, what exactly do we go over at our live 2.5-day events? We just wrapped up a session where 10 people flew in from across the country. And before we started, I asked them, what questions do you want to make sure you have answered before you leave? This is what we covered in addition to the agenda we already had. So the first one was disqualifying leads. How far do you push a lead before you decide this is not a good lead for our operation? The process from lead gen to close, we went over exactly when a lead calls in from the very first time, when they very first raise their hand, until we run the appointment, until we go under contract, until we go through dispo, and when we close. The entire flowchart for how a lead goes through our systems. Recruiting and managing. How are we finding talented people? Where are we sourcing them from? How are we interviewing them, making sure they're a good fit for our organization? And after we get them, how do we manage them? Exit strategies. What are all the different ways we take a lead and figure out what's the best way to disposition the lead? Hiring VAs. How are we finding VAs? How are we training the VAs? How are we managing the VAs? Novations. How exactly do we pitch a novation to a homeowner? Financials. We went over the balance sheets, my exact P&Ls, my exact chart of accounts. How do we process the gross profits, net profits, profitability, marketing? What are we doing right now to market to our motivated sellers? Drip campaigns. After they reach out to us, if we can't get an appointment, what do we do to follow up with them in perpetuity? Compensation. How are we paying our salespeople, our acquisition managers, our disposition managers, our lead managers, our administrative people? Time management. How is it exactly I am able to run 4 businesses in parallel at a good level? KPIs. What metrics should we be tracking as an organization to make sure we're running our business at the right level? Creative strategies. What are we pitching at the appointments? How do we pitch at the appointments? Private money. What are we doing? How do you raise private money? And these are just some of the questions that people came up with when they first showed up. On top of all that, we had a special guest, in this instance, Ryan Zolan, talking about his business. We did a tour where they could actually walk through my entire office and talk to everyone on my team exactly what they do and how that contributes to our team's success. Then on the first full day, we go over my entire operations, every single bit of my business from A to Z. And then on the next full day after that, we go over my entire sales process, how we talk to homeowners, how we set the expectations from the very beginning of the appointment all the way to getting a signed contract. There's a science behind this. A lot of people think that you can just sell. It's really simple. There's a process you got to follow, and if you're not following an exact process, you're probably leaving money on the table. You might be wondering, why exactly do I do this? So I actually wanted to be a teacher when I grew up, but once I learned how much teachers make, I knew that was no longer an option for me. But what's been amazing, a blessing for me, is that I actually get to teach people now and help people along the way. Remember, when you first heard of me, you might have heard me say, I want to create 100 millionaires, and we are on our way to creating 100 millionaires. So if you want to get all your questions answered, hear what other people are struggling with, go through our blueprint so you can learn how exactly we run our business from A to Z, so that you can scale your business, run a business that doesn't rely on you, so you can chase your time freedom, financial freedom, chase exactly what's important to you outside of real estate. Then go to disruptors.com/blueprint. Apply there. Maybe we'll see you at the next event.